Hello and Merry Christmas, everyone! So today I figured we should do something a little bit simpler. Because, I mean, to be honest, y'all probably got stuff to do. So, we're going to be installing this network card in this computer, which should be simple. Hopefully. Now, the hardest part about this will probably be taking the case off. Now, that's not just because I have to move all this stuff out of the way. It's because this is made from a time where cases were all one piece. There's the frame, and there's the cover, which is one thing. Both the side panels and the top. See, it kind of comes apart like that, because I don't have any screws put in it, because I'm very, very naughty. This is a nice plushie. So we gotta do these things. You just sort of push it back, and then it won't go anymore. Now what you gotta do is sort of lift it up at an angle, and then these clips get in the way. And then you can kind of just do that, I guess. I'm not a fan of this case design. Now, while we're in here, there are some other things I want to take care of. Most notably this. This needs to stop. No more of this. I'm not sure how this works. I'm just going to pull on it and hope it comes off. How did I do this? Bruh, what is this? Oh my god. Where the heck is the screwdriver? I somehow completely forgot I did this. This is the stupidest thing. I know after that mess it just won't ever be perfect again, but well, it fits on here now, so that's good. See, I can just do that. And you might notice this is a lot cleaner of a solution than what was on there before. So I can put this in here. Reinstall the screw, which none of these screws match. I could actually replace them now because I do have spare screws, but it's just part of the personality of this machine at this point. All of the incorrect screws. This screw is for like an optical drive. But yeah. So yes, the specs of this machine. We have 128 megabytes of RAM. We have this AMD K62 something or other clocked at 500 megahertz. This 3D-FX Voodoo 3 2000 a modem. And this SoundBlaster Live, which was an addition of mine that does not fit this build at all. So this motherboard is actually really interesting. It is an ASUS P58B, I believe. Correction down there if I'm wrong. Which was actually made during the transitional period between AT to ATX. And now, some of you might be wondering, well, what exactly does that mean? And well, if I move this out of the way, we have both an AT and an ATX power supply connection. That means this motherboard, while it is an AT form factor, this is an AT case it's in, this is an AT power supply, this is an AT power button, it has an ATX port on it. A normal 20-pin ATX power supply port. Which is so weird. So this motherboard supports everything that ATX brought, like the S3 state, like powering off without hurting your hard drives, all those sorts of things. But it also has AT, which I have no idea why these motherboards existed, because I thought the whole ATX power and ATX board standard came around the same time. But maybe this was just sold as a component for a case that was AT, but you wanted the newer power features, which doesn't make any sense because this button has mains voltage running right into it. So I don't know why this board exists. If that has ATX, that means on this board somewhere there is a front panel header for the power button. But if you know anything about AT, you would know the power is controlled by literally plugging it in. Pressing the button on the front is the same thing as connecting the power supply to power. That's what this thick cable is for. And that's why it's a bit dangerous to do that. But I digress. So the next order of business is what I wanted to do while I was in here also, is this poor CPU, the one buried right here, has never been repasted. I was so scared for all of these years. I'm gonna have to remove this again. Of just breaking things. So, because I don't know, I thought the computers were these weird magical boxes. While I was directly soldering to floppy disk drives. I don't get it. So I never touched this CPU. So it's been under here cooking with its old thermal paste that's applied by, I don't know, man, but it's dusty too. Zoomed in so far you can smell the pixels. So this is the very first time this... How does this cooler come off? At least this is how I found to do it. I know there's probably a better way. But one finger inside of the fan shroud, sort of like that. Push down, push on that, and then lift up. And it comes off. It's actually not that hard. I just thought there was a little bit more to it than that. So now... this should just come off. Oh my goodness, that's not a lot of thermal paste at all. The first time this cooler's been off in like years. Oh, that connected in the same rail to the optical drive? Oh boy, okay. Get this CPU cooler out of here. Ugh. Okay, so that's gonna be cleaned. Also, gonna take the CPU out of here. It's actually still not that bad. I never repasted this thing. The last time this was repasted was at least 2000. I don't know how this is possible. I honestly just have no idea. So I'm gonna clean this apparently not that bad thermal paste off.
Bruh, this is absolutely disgusting.
That wasn't that just the nicest looking Socket 7 cooler in AMD K62 you've ever seen? Probably not. But interestingly, for the longest time, I've actually had this other AMD K62, the AMD K62 300 AFR, and then there's the 400 AFR, which was in here. So I'm guessing, I forgot where I got this, but I was thinking, oh, this is probably just a better chip. I should put this in there while it's open, and nope, it's actually worse. So that's cool. This one, this one looks cooler anyway. This one's laser etched. Just put it in there, and it's in. It's actually, it doesn't drop in as easy as you might think it would compared to other sockets that use the PGA layout, but yeah, okay. So now we just put the arm down like any other CPU, and it's in. So now we're going to go with some Arctic Silver MX4. I'm not sure where the die is on this chip, so I'm just going to put what I would consider a normal amount. There we go, that's good. In the middle there, and it's in. So there we go, the CPU cooler is now completely clean. Nice. And now we're going to do what we actually came in here to do, and that's install the network card. So there is only one PCI slot left because I used up the rest. So I just slot it in here. Huh, nice. And now I need to find a screw. And it's in, nice. Look at that. Huh. So over the years, I've tried to keep this machine fairly pure. Now, of course, there are some problems with this thing. Obviously, the sound card is a glaring problem. But the only reason this is in here, just so you know, is because for a while this was my only working computer with PCI in it. And I needed to use the sound card because its MIDI is amazing. But you might notice there's something missing here. And because I've been trying to keep this machine pure, like I said, we don't have any USB. Now, we need drivers for the network card. I could just burn a CD, but if I burned a CD for every time I put files on this thing, I would be out of CDs. It'd be like making a Reactivist video every week. So, I have a bit of a different way of getting files on here, which is actually pretty interesting. I bet some of you already know what it is. Now this right here is this computer's original, like 40 gigabyte hard drive. Well, okay, one of it's original, one of them didn't make it. But this thing, even after all of the torture I put it through, all of the torch the previous owners put it through, and probably before that. So I just keep using it. I'm going to use this thing till it dies. I have a full DD backup from like earlier this year, so even if this drive dies, all the data is fine. So how I put files on here is, well, I never screw it in, so I can just... This was easier before. Pull it out. Now, a lot of you probably already know where this is going. So we've got IDE hard drive, so we need IDE caddy. For instance, I'll be using this one, which isn't actually meant for this purpose. Fun fact, this is actually meant for actually permanently, not for the sort of thing I'm using it for. This is for actually putting a hard drive in and like leaving it in there, hence the fan. But yeah, I've had this thing forever, man. This cable isn't the original cable for this. This I got out of a DVR. Because I accidentally ripped the old one and it didn't work anymore because I ripped it. But this one does the trick just fine, though it doesn't actually fit in the case properly anymore. And put that in there, and it sort of just sits upside down. Now we need to use this ancient USB cable to plug this end into here. Like this is the kind for printers. And we just hold on to this end, make sure that sets off. Plug in this 12-volt power supply into here. Turn it on. No, I don't think we turned it on yet. We gotta plug it into the computer and then turn it on. So it's time for Old Reliable. Wow! It's actually even booted up. Yeah, about that. So now, as we can see here, I am now accessing a Samba share on a Raspberry Pi. So now I can take this, which is the driver, and oh, I forgot to plug the hard drive in. That's just sad. My goodness, it's working. So now I will open the Untitled folder of yesteryear, copy this file onto it. There we go. Oh. Copy. And it's done. So yeah, this is why we're doing the networking thing, because you see, having to dismantle the whole computer in order to get at the hard drive to put a file on it is a little inconvenient. Oh, here it is. Put this in here. This in here. And put the case back on, because we're done. Oh, listen to it purr. So nice. And that monitor is ridiculously dim. That fan sounds a lot better than it used to. I took it all off of its hub and I actually redid the oil in it. So, I don't know, maybe I did actually really help it, but I just did that for aesthetic reasons. It was disgusting before. Aww. So after the last ScanDisk clip, my storage filled up, so I went to go empty it, but it was stuck at 99%. So I thought, okay, I'll just restart it. But when I did, I got the card, the Voodoo 3 2000's BIOS, but then it wouldn't post after, and now whenever I turn it on, it doesn't output anything. Which is a little worrying. Okay, so I did a bunch of testing, and I've come to the conclusion this computer doesn't make any sense. What I do know is that this PCI slot, I don't know if it's necessarily bad in of itself, but it would cause the whole computer to hang if I had something plugged into it. And you might remember that's kind of where we put the network card. So I took out the modem and I put it in there. So it's now an 18 machine with no modem. That's just sad. So we have the Voodoo 3 2000 back in. I put in all of the RAM, I reseated it, moved it around a little bit, and it boots. It's really inconsistent with how it boots. Actually took me 3 tries to get it to start up this time. So let's get this done before it just offs itself. And of course, before we go any further, I want to screw the card in. So again, I'm not sure if this thing will turn on again, so I want to do it like that. As we can see, it's detected our lovely Ethernet controller again, so I'm just going to click cancel, because again, we need to install the actual drivers first. So let's come over here, go into C, Untitled folder, wherever it is. There we go, there's the driver. For Dimension XP computers? That's weird. I got this directly from CNET's website. That's odd. I don't know why it's a Dell. That's really weird. This adapter was installed with your system. Where did I get this adapter? It could have been out of a Dimension, actually. Yeah, that could actually be from a Dimension. Well, I hope its driver works. Dell Drivers Pro 200. Select this, and it should pick it up, maybe, if I selected the right folder, and it did. Windows Bruh.
I don't know if the computer is gonna last long enough.
So, I'm just gonna come over here and open up the DVD-ROM drive, put in the CD, close the CD-ROM drive. Hey, there we go. Nice. Well, I hope it boots up again, but it does seem good so far. Oh, okay. Alright, we're looking good. Huh, nice. You know, I feel like this computer performs better now. I wonder if it was thermal throttling. Let's get this stupid thing out of the way. Look at that! And because of a marvelous thing called standards, I can take this normal Cat 5e cable and I can just put it in here. And we have a light, ladies and gentlemen, viewers, people. Oh, that's completely wrong. Okay. Well, okay, the 4 part is wrong. Let's just get that off of there. Oh my goodness, are you serious? Ah, crap.
I wish that I could turn back time.
Well, conversely, what we can do is make this a share and then connect to it using Windows 10 or something, but that's so much more boring. That's like actually a shame. I don't want to settle for that.
I just keep letting me down.
Just gonna enable that, click OK, reboot, I guess. Oh my god. This is currently the longest I've seen it on the VBIOS. Just gonna oh hey, there we go. Alright, well, you at least got enough. That's not the right amount of RAM. File and printer sharing. I want to be able to give and click access to that too. Now, hopefully, that's okay again. It's gonna want files from the disk or something. Yep, okay. Hopefully do this for the last time. Okay, now it's set up for sharing, so now, yep, should just be able to access it from the Windows 10 machine. And after that, oh my, it's here, it's all here. I can't believe it. Finally. Okay, so now we can copy files on and off of the 98 machine. So in the same Untitled folder we were using before, I will now paste in a copy of Kernel X as well as a copy of Chameleon so that we can hopefully browse the internet. But first we're going to want Kernel X because Chameleon is only for Windows 2000, but it is supported under Kernel X, I believe. And we also need... oh. You remember in the beginning when I said that this was going to be an easy project? This is already a full-length video, isn't it?
Because of that, it's killing me inside.
So, the battery died while I was recording the last clip, but I did manage to get Kernel X installed. All I needed to do was actually copy these two files, unicows.pdb and unicows.dll, and then put them in the C Windows system folder. And then it just sort of went, and didn't actually ask to download anything this time. So there we go. Now with Kernel X installed, we can run the Chameleon installer. I will leave a link so you can actually download the Unicode files. So, you know, just in case you need them. I doubt anybody watching this is going to try and repeat any part of this, but they're there. So the thing about Chameleon, right, is that it's a Windows 2000 application. So already the fact that this is working means that kernel X is doing what it's supposed to. Interlock popped... what? Well, that's not good. So reading the official blog post on kernelx.sourceforge.com, this is apparently officially supported by kernel X, that being Opera 11.5.0. Oh, so now we have Opera 9 and Opera 10. We are really scraping the bottom of the bucket. Let's try Opera 10 first. Again, both of these are ancient browsers, but as it currently stands, Internet Explorer just doesn't work. For some reason, this install is an enigma. Okay, alright, this is working. Yes, I'd like to make Opera the default browser. Currently, it's going to be the only browser, except for Windows 98 itself, which is basically runs on a web browser. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful! Look at that. Opera 10 on the 98 machine. On this hunk of garbage, we have Opera running. It is time to... Oh, this is warning. It's actually reaching the outside. It's telling me about expired SSL certificates. Oh my goodness, it's amazing! Look at that! Nice! Nice! Okay, so let's go to Google. Yep. Approve these ancient certificates, and it's Google. It's Google on the 98 machine with a fast Ethernet card on a dying motherboard. We've done it. Oh my goodness, it's YouTube on the 98 machine. Oh, guys. No, come back. It's horrible. Now, I'm sure you're probably wondering, now why would you want a Network 98 machine? And, well, for things like this. This right here is my Sony Mavica, and just like any other Sony Mavica, it has a disability. That, of course, being it records onto floppy disk, which I can't just chuck these in my main computer to read the pictures off when I take them, because of its rather sad lack of a floppy disk head drive. And the place to put it. So, yeah, I do like this camera actually quite a lot. But it's been kind of inhibiting to use because whenever I take a picture, I can't get it off. But if I have a 98 machine like this one, which is connected up to a network, I can just take the disk out, put it in, Control X, Control V. So now I can navigate to the same folder on my relatively modern computer, and we can see our crusty Mavica photo on Windows 10. Oh, without a floppy drive. In this computer, at least. And there we have it, a fully networked, dying Windows 98 machine, complete with kernel X, which is basically cheating. Something I should really do in the future is just take this whole computer apart and try and figure out what's going wrong with it. I don't know how many of you actually found this video interesting, so if you do actually want to see me take this whole computer apart and put it back together again, then be sure to let me know. But that's for a different time, because this video is more than long enough. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you chaps in the next one. Bye! Wait. Huh. What does this button do?